Okay, crazy idea. Well, I've been looking at airports, holidays, stuff like that. My wife's a teacher, so she's been working really hard, desperate for a break. Schools broke up a couple of days ago, and we just wanted to get away. It looks pretty chaotic at the airports. The tunnel looks bad as well, but I managed today to grab a space on a ferry over to France from Portsmouth, and we decided to go skiing in Avoriaz. Just for 3 or 4 days. So I have just loaded up the car. So this is just to show you the space available in the back of the eTron. So below the floor, I've got some 3 pairs of ski boots, a pair of ice skates. I've got 4 pairs of skis in there. I've got luggage and ski wear for a family of 4, helmets, back gear, protectors, everything, and jackets. And as you can see, it fits in the eTron reasonably well. So not too bad. So we're off to Portsmouth in a couple of hours. And overnight ferry will dock at 6:45 French time, and we want to be in the Alps ideally in time for dinner. So busy day tomorrow, long drive, 550 miles or so, slightly further than the last trip we did down to Leger, but because it was all a bit last minute, I have not had the chance to plan the charging stops, but having done Leger to Caen before, I do know that we can do the whole thing pretty much on Ionity or Fastned. Shouldn't be too difficult, so we're just going to kind of make it up as we go and just pick some Ionity stations that are in the right places and just work from there. So wish us luck, and I'll give you an update later. Well, good morning from Rosny in France. We are just west of Paris. The ferry docked at 7 this morning. It's now 10 o'clock, so it took us about 45 minutes to get through customs to get ourselves on the road. So we've done about 120 miles to get here, pulled in with 24 miles range remaining. Now, this is the eastbound, sorry, this is the westbound carriage. I should be good at east and west considering my job, but this is the westbound side, and we were travelling on the eastbound side. But on the eastbound services, there's only a 50 kilowatt charger. So I've made the decision just to come off of the next junction and spend another 5 minutes on the road to come in here. But we're charging now up here at 150 kilowatts at Ionity, and from here I know the next stop is somewhere just after Paris, but because this was a bit of a last minute decision, I haven't really planned out exactly where I'm going to stop. I knew we could use this one, so the next one, I know this one just south of Paris, Nemours. I used the services on the other side, northbound on the last trip, but really we're kind of making it up. This is a bit of an unplanned, unscheduled, see how it goes. The previous experience was chargers here in France, should be no problem whatsoever. So we're just going to charge the car up 80% or so and move on from here, make it up. Okay, just while we're finishing off the charge here, I've had a quick look on a better route planner. I've got a couple of options. I've got Nemours and I've got Reserve. Reserve's 120 miles away, that'll just do nicely. I've got 90% already after about a quarter of an hour, so we're going to unplug, we're going to make our way down next charging stop. Hi, we're 245 miles in now. This is a service area called La Reserve. We just plugged into Ionity. I've got about 50 miles range left on the car, so it's not doing too bad after the last stop at Rosny North. Okay, we are at stop number 3 for us. We're at Masson, which is between Dijon and Lyon, and from here we head towards Geneva and then up into the Alps. So we just plugged into Ionity here, so you see quite a busy station, 4 of them in use at the moment, and other things charging away quite well. So I'm going to grab a quick cup of tea and get going from here soon. It's not too far down to the next one at Bonneville, which is our last stop. We might just about make it up into resort with this, but I'm not too sure the charging situation up there, so we want to just fill up a bit more here before we carry on. Last leg was 155 miles. The car said it would get here with about 20 miles range. It actually got here with 29, so it is slightly better than prediction, but I think that was driving at 110k in the roadworks rather than 130, and that just gave me a little range boost, so all helps and everything's going well. Okay, we're now at Ionity Bonneville, had just enough charge to get into resort. I've only topped up to 60% in 9 minutes, and that will get me up to resort and back here again, no problem at all. I have used these chargers before at the previous trip, so yeah, everything's going good. There should be some free chargers in the car park, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get access to them, or if they're going to work, or if I need any kind of card. So that's why I've just got enough juice to get back here. But so far, it's gone all right. Traffic's been fine. last charge my range wasn't so good. I was only getting about 160 with a full charge. It was showing 145 at 90%, so not brilliant. I think that's the battery getting very hot, combined with the motorway speeds, so that might limit things. I've heard that from another owner as well. But otherwise, eTron's doing fine, and it hasn't been particularly planned as to where we're going to stop. It hasn't been sorted out with all the detail. We've just been making up as we go, and from here we're up into Avoriaz at 35 miles away. Quite a lot of hill to climb, and then we'll be doing a sort of regen all the way back down again. Well, good morning from the plateau parking undergrounds at Avoriaz, and there's 4 parking spaces here dedicated to EV chargers, completely free to use as well, which is excellent. So I've been in the parking office. They've given me a card just to start the charger that's behind me. We're getting a 3 kilowatt charge, and the receptionist at the car park, she just said bring the car back tonight and move your car back into regular parking space to free up the space. So I'm going to charge at 80% because I still want plenty of regen coming down the hill from here. If I was relying on friction brakes with a 100% battery, that wouldn't be so good. So only going to go to 80%. The car will be here for another day or 2 yet before we head back, and then I can use my regen all the way down the hill back down to Morzine, and from there towards Geneva. Good morning, and first little video having left Avoriaz. As you saw, parked up in Avoriaz and charged up for free. Left Avoriaz 80% battery, done about 30 miles, just joined the motorway towards Geneva. Unfortunately, the mountain road doesn't agree with my daughter, so we had to make a bit of an unscheduled stop on this one, just to help clean her up. But we'll be back on the road shortly. Battery went from 80% up to 82 and now down at about 75, and I've got plenty of range. I think we're going to plan to charge at Ionity Jura. Might stop before that, could do with a coffee and a croissant. Okay, so we are now at Seine Haute Bougie. We still need to go to Jura to charge there, and I've got, if I get to Jura, I'll have about 50 miles range left, and I need to charge Jura, and then it looks like Troyes, Reims, and then up to the tunnel itself. So all pretty good for the plan, but I fancy a cup of coffee, so does my wife, so we're going to pull in here at this services. I'm only at 55%, so you know, no need to charge, but it gives me the best parking spot because I'm right by the coffee shop. So we've just plugged in. I'm going to run in, grab a coffee, and then we're going to do a full top up at Jura. Well, we ignored the Jura charging stop. We've carried on because the car sat there said a place called Langres, which is where we are now. The shocker is we pulled in, all 8 Ionity chargers were in use. So it's the 6 350 kilowatt chargers in use and a couple of 50 kilowatt chargers. But only had to wait about 3 or 4 minutes. Porsche Taycan left. I've pulled in. I'm now charging up. Just grabbed a sandwich, which I'm going to eat here in the sunshine. But when I get the notification the car's fully charged, I'm going to move it off the chargers just to free up for other electric cars. I mean, it is France, it is lunchtime, everyone stops for lunch, so yes, I do understand why it would be busy. We've covered about 250 miles so far, puts us nearly halfway. Looking at the sat-nav still, got to stop at Troyes, not too far away, or at Reims. Not too sure how we'll do that one next, possibly carry on up to Reims. The Reims to Coquel Channel Tunnel, that's a bit more tricky. It's fine southbound because you've got 2 service areas with Ionity between those 2 points. Going northbound, it doesn't look like there's any services on the northbound side with Ionity, so I may be using a total station or just putting off the motorway briefly or turning back on myself. We haven't really worked out how we're going to do it yet. We're kind of making it up as we go. So we should start. Okay, I finished my sandwich, and we're just going to head back out on the road in a second. As you can see, the chargers behind me all pretty quiet. There are just 2 eTrons in there, mine being one of them. So I'm going to unplug. I'm at 95%. That's going to get me up to Reims, and then I've just got to work out how to get to the tunnel from there. And it's not too difficult. It's just slightly beyond 1 full charge, so might have to just top up at a DC charger or pull off the motorway. We'll work it out from there. Time to go unplug. Well, welcome from Reims, capital of the Champagne district, just the north end of Burgundy. So we didn't really kind of follow plan A, didn't have a plan A, to be honest about it. So we left Avoriaz, make an unscheduled stop just because of Alice not feeling too well. That mountain road down from Avoriaz is very windy and it gets her every time. Yeah, well, I can't say it was unexpected. And then we topped up with a morning coffee. We abandoned Troyes, we carried on up to Langres and then on to Reims. So this is charging stop number 3 and it's about 180 miles up to the tunnel. So French motorway speeds 130k, that's a bit tight. I reckon if I slow it down I might just make that without a top up. And I know there's a big Ionity station at Coquel Channel Gateway, so we might just do it in one hit, or I might just put my foot down and do a quick refill on the way. Not too sure yet, but it looks like it's feasible to go from here up to the tunnel without any change. There's a big shopping centre here, so my wife and my son have just run in to buy Easter eggs for a friend, and we will be on the road when the car is fully charged. I'm probably going to go to 100 here percent, just because that might let me get to the tunnel without one additional stop, which would be quite nice to do. But if I have to stop, it looks like there's a fair number of good chargers near the motorway, either 50 kilowatt DCs or 150 plus sort of total stations near the motorway, but not actually on the motorway itself. So it shouldn't be too difficult from here. Okay, so fully charged back at Reims, so that shopping centre with the Ionity chargers there, and quite a steady stream of electric cars coming through there. It's quite a busy station, but never got more than half full. About 4 other English cars there as well. I saw go through a couple of ID3s and a Kia at the same time. So it's been a fairly busy stop. But we've been into shops, we've been out of the car for about an hour. We were only plugged into the charger for just under 30 minutes, I think. At 100% charge, when I left, I was showing just over 190 miles of range and about 175 to do to get to the tunnel. So that would give me 16 miles of range left on arrival. And there is another Ionity station called Channel Gateway, next door to the Holiday Inn at Calais. So we should get up there without having to stop again. So that's what we're going to try and do. But what I'm just doing at the moment, I'm cruising a little bit slower. I'm doing 110, 120k rather than 130. That'll just build me up to about 20 miles of range and give me a nice kind of fat margin. And we may well have speed limits that keep us slower anyway. So I'll just keep an eye on things. I can manage my speed to manage the range. And we should be into the next station just this side of the tunnel before we go into the tunnel, just to get a last top up. And with Operation Brock on, with all the trucks and the contraflow in Kent, I'm not too sure how easily I'm going to be able to charge up just across the other side at Ionity Maidstone or Channel Gateway in Kent. So we'd rather charge up this side, but that might be a busy charger, we'll have to wait and see. Okay, we are at Ionity, which is at the Holiday Inn, Coquel Sangat. We're just under a mile from the tunnel entrance. We got here, I predicted 17 miles remaining, I've actually got 23 miles remaining. I did drive 120k for about 10 minutes, got bored with that, sped up to speed limit 130 and sort of drove it like you stole it. So got here with slightly more range than predicted, which is really good for the car because you do want to kind of rely on that information. We're going to top up here to about 50%, and then we're going to go round to the terminal for Eurotunnel where I might get the chance to use one of their free 50 kilowatt chargers. Then in the half an hour it's going to take to have some tea, that'll take me up towards 100%, and then I can cross through the tunnel and hopefully arrive at home without having to stop on the way. Well, last video of the night. It's pretty late now. We are on the tunnel. We are on the train somewhere deep under the English Channel and on our way. So everything went as kind of planned. Well, I say planned, we didn't really plan things. But the first stop, we were at 55%, coffee and croissants. Didn't fancy lunch for a while, so went from 90% battery down to pretty low. Filled up completely while we had our sandwiches, and then at the next one we went into the big hypermarket, and I had to rush out just to unplug the car because it was completely full then as well. That gave us enough to get to the tunnel with 23 miles to spare, which will get me to a charger in Kent. The plan had been to top up at the Eurotunnel terminal, but we're on a Flexi Plus ticket, so we followed the Flexi Plus signs that took us to the Flexi Plus lounge, but unfortunately for us, there's only Tesla superchargers at Flexi Plus. There isn't a standard DC charger, CCS, for other vehicles. So until Tesla open up all their chargers on the east side of France, we couldn't top up there. So we're going to have to do a top up before we get home, which isn't going to be a problem. We're about 65% battery because we topped up at the Holiday Inn Channel Gateway in Coquelles, so not doing too bad on that. So easy peasy from here to go home. We're basically 550 miles, 3 stops, and been fairly straightforward, even though we didn't have a massive plan. We've just kind of looked at where the chargers are near our range limit and just kind of worked from there and made things fit around kind of coffee and lunch and other stops. So it's been pretty straightforward.